Insurance.
Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to the latest edition of Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. I'm your host, Mark Villasana, and joining me as always is my BFF, marketing manager for Northwestern Insurance, Miss Lila Levy. Hey, Lila, how are you doing?
Hola and shalom.
Shalom, my friend. What's been going on? It's been a while since we've done this.
It's been a while.
It's been about a month, hasn't it?
Yeah, at least. I feel a little rusty, but I feel like it'll be easy to get back up on the horse.
I think so. I think we both like to talk a lot, so I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah.
So tell me, what have you been up to since we last met? Now, I see you every day, but what's been going on in your personal life?
I've been kind of low-key for the past month or so. Low-key for me.
So you're only seeing like 8 Broadway shows this week?
Instead of 12.
Yeah.
Instead of camping out in front of multiple theaters, I've only camped out in front of one. But no, I've been spending a lot more time at home. I've been taking more walks. I've been spending a lot more time at home with my dog. I really love my dog. If anyone knows me, they know I'm dog obsessed. And my dog's name is Snoopy Lou, and I've had him for 4 years, and he's crazy. He's really, really, really funny. And I just, I'm his whole world. I have my own world, but I'm his whole world. So he deserves as much attention as possible.
He misses his mommy.
Yeah, I think so. He's gotten a little chunky, too, because he's on a...
Haven't we? Oh, I know I have. I know I have. So tell him not to feel bad.
I know. He's gotten a little chunky because he's on some meds. We're trying to regulate his liver, so we got to walk more also.
Yeah, well, that's good. You're spending time with him.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I've been busy, as really busy. As you know, you and I have started co-hosting a show with Dale Hansen.
Yeah.
From WFFA TV fame. So we've been busy with that. We've been really trying to promote that a lot. And
what's it called, Mark?
It is called Dallas Dialogue with Dale Hansen, and you can catch it anywhere you stream your podcast and on YouTube. Or if you need more information, go to www.nwagencies.com. Back to my story. So other than doing that, we've been promoting that.
Yes.
A lot. Also, I was recently elected as the president of the Dallas chapter for the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, which is an organization I'm very proud of. We started over 60 years ago, but the Dallas chapter has only been around for 2 years. And what the whole objective is to promote and inspire existing and upcoming new agents in the insurance industry and anybody that's insurance adjacent. So we network. We educate, and eventually we want to become so strong we legislate. So
that's great.
I've been really, really busy with that. And of course, you and I doing the Northwest Insurance thing.
It's true.
So we ended up skipping an episode.
Yes.
But because of the thousands and thousands and thousands of emails we've been getting from the insurance junkies out there,
and voyeurs,
we had to get back to it because people wanted to know what is going on in the insurance world.
Yeah.
So today we have a very interesting subject, Lila.
Yes.
We're going to talk about disability insurance.
Okay.
And the reason we're talking about disability insurance is because our guest caused a lot of people to, I'm sure if they had disability insurance, would need to file a claim on their disability insurance.
What a good teaser.
Yeah, it is a good teaser. Then let's get into disability insurance, and then we'll introduce our guests.
Okay, that sounds good.
Today, like I mentioned, we're talking about disability insurance, and disability insurance is designed to protect your income if you're unable to work due to illness or injury. It's not about covering your medical bills, because that would be health insurance. This is more about making sure you still have money coming in when you're physically or mentally can't do your job. And so there's several things that disability insurance covers. One of the things that it covers, Lila, is income replacement. Most of these policies, when you do have an injury and you're disabled, they will pay out to 50 to 70% of your gross income.
Uh-huh.
So if you're unable to work, it's going to pay up to 70% of your income.
Like if I broke a bone or
if you had
long-term,
right? And and that was actually, yes, exactly. And I'll give you some examples here in a second. But that would include your base salary, and depending on what type of work you do, if you work on commissions, it might cover commissions, bonuses, or even incentive pay.
Okay.
And the goal of this type of insurance really is to maintain your lifestyle. For example, if you can't work, you're not able to pay your mortgage, you won't be able to keep food on the table, and you won't be able to pay a lot of your bills. So that's what this supplements that. And like I said, it pays out to 50 to 70% of it. Now, there's two types of this disability insurance. One of them is what we call short-term disability. And that really is that usually kicks in after a waiting period of 1 to 2 weeks. And that only offers you coverage up for really the maximum of up to 6 months.
Okay.
These policies, disability, short-term disability, really typically are for injuries or ailments that would only saddle you or sideline you for up to 3 to 6 months. So, for example, if you broke a bone, or if you have to have a surgery and you're unable to work for up to 6 months, short-term disability would be perfect for that type of situation.
Okay.
Of course, the other type, flip the coin, long-term disability insurance, where that would kick in wherever the 6-month term would end.
Got it.
So
Okay, so that's the difference.
Yeah. After
Okay.
the 6 months term, the long-term liability would kick in, and what that does, of course, that caters to more serious illness. Think a stroke. Think cancer, or think of if you were in a bad car accident and you were unable to work beyond 6 months.
Okay.
This type of liability would cover that. It could also include rehabilitation programs, mental health support, Lila, even job retraining. Let's say if you injured a hand and you were unable to use all of and only a portion of your hand, they might cover things like sending you to some kind of vocational tool to learn how to do your job with a partial hand. So it covers a lot. The bottom line is disability insurance isn't just for athletes, hint, who our guest is, or daredevils, people who are prone to be injured. It's really for anyone whose ability to work is tied to their physical or mental health. So anybody who is unable to work, whether it be for a physical reason or a mental reason, and disability insurance would cover your income for any lost wages.
I bet Evel Knievel, and I'm dating myself, I bet Evel Knievel, you needed short-term and long-term disability
You
insurance.
might need to do a little quick explanation of exactly who Evel Knievel is.
You know what? For the young kids out there, just Google it. For those of us that were born in the 60s and 70s, you know who I'm talking about.
Now, did I make any sense, or did you
Okay. Yeah, and that's really, I know I say this to you each episode, and even though I've worked at Northwest Insurance for 2 years, I really mean this. Every time that you talk about a different kind of insurance on these episodes, I learned something new.
Yeah.
I knew there was such a thing as short-term and long-term, but I didn't know the parameters of what that meant time-wise and what it covered. So that's interesting. And I'm glad to know that Evel Knievel probably used both.
You want to hear the weird part?
What?
I learned something too.
You did?
No, just kidding.
Wow.
No, but I do. It refreshes. Anytime we go over this stuff, it's always good to refresh on it because, as you know, our agency services all type of insurance, whether it be auto, home, life, health.
And my favorite kind of insurance.
Yes, we also do inland marine insurance. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick break right here, and then when we get back, we'll introduce our very special guest, who I mentioned earlier, caused a lot of disability.
Yes.
Right?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I am very excited. I feel very honored to be able to interview this gentleman. Okay, you've been watching Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas, and we'll be right back. If you're a Texas contractor and your insurance guy doesn't speak your language, fire him. We specialize in Spanish-speaking tradesmen. Call today, and we'll review your current policy for free. No pressure, just straight answers. You've seen the guy that's your bro. That's us. And just like I protected my grandfather from the sun, we protect you from life's challenges. I'm Mark Villasana, owner and agency principal with Northwest Insurance.
I actually heard about NW agencies through a friend of mine who's been using them for years. Honestly, I've been really impressed. They made the whole process so much simpler than I expected. I was always used to dealing with a lot of back and forth, but with NW it was straightforward, and I always felt like they had my best interests at heart.
We're a full-service independent agency. That means we don't work for a single carrier, we work for you. We've got access to over 100 carriers, so whether you're insuring your home, your truck, or your electrical business, we'll find the coverage that fits your needs and your budget.
It's been a game changer, really. I used to worry a lot about getting the right coverage, especially with my business and home, but now I feel much more confident. They helped me understand my options and made sure I had the right policy for both my business and personal needs.
We specialize in helping hardworking folks, contractors, tradesmen, laborers, the people who keep Texas running. Whether you're a framer in Floresville, a roofer in Seguin, or a plumber in San Antonio, we'll walk you through the process in plain English or Espanol.
We'll pour you a cup of coffee, talk you through your policy, and make sure you leave with more protection and more peace of mind than you came in with.
This is Northwest Insurance. We've got you covered.
Northwest Insurance.
Okay, we are back on Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. We were talking about disability insurance, Lila, when we left.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that that was just a quick summary of disability insurance. There's so much more intricacies that go with the policy. So if you have any questions, please give us a call at our 214-352-5656 or contact your local insurance provider because, again, don't rely on just this little short summary to know all you need to know about disability. There's a lot more to it. That being said, I mentioned earlier our guest today caused a lot of disability, so I'm going to go to my trusty notes here because I don't want to mess up any of his accomplishments because there are so many. Okay, born in Jackson, Tennessee in 1951, this gentleman stood out early. He was 6'9", and he originally pursued basketball and baseball. He did not even play football until his senior year of high school, Lila. Did you know that? But once he did, it was clear he was built for it. He went to the Tennessee State University on a basketball scholarship, but switched to football and became a two-time All-American defensive lineman. In 1974, he made history as the first player from a historically black college to be drafted number 1 overall in the NFL draft, selected by your very own Dallas Cowboys. Ed played, wow, I let it slip there. Wow. Our guest played 15 seasons in the NFL, all with the Cowboys, racking up 106 career sacks. That's unofficial total because sacks weren't even recorded until 1982. Mm-hmm. He earned 3 Pro Bowl selections, and he helped his team win Super Bowl 12 in 1978. He was a cornerstone of the Cowboys' legendary Doomsday defense, known for his reach, awareness, and ability to disrupt plays before they even started. I remember watching him play, and it seemed like he lined up in the backfield. Mm-hmm. He got to the ball sometimes for the running back did. Mm-hmm. And here's where it gets even more impressive, Lila. In 1979, he stepped away from football to pursue professional boxing. He fought 6 heavyweight bouts, went undefeated, and returned to the NFL in 1980, stronger and sharper than ever. His boxing training improved his stamina and reflexes, making him even more dangerous on the field. He played until 1989, never missing a single game in his final decade. Man, that's 224 games he played without missing. That's incredible.
That is.
He was durable, dominant, and respected across the league. After football, he stayed active. He's mentored young athletes. He spoke publicly, and he stayed connected to the game with the community. He's also purchased insurance from Northwest Insurance, so he's extra special in my book.
There's the icing on the cake.
So let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, and insurance fanatics across the world, please help me in welcoming Mr. Ed Too Tall Jones. Hey, Ed, how are you doing, Ed?
I'm good. Thank you for that.
Man, I appreciate you doing this for us. I know you said you get a lot of requests, and you probably have to turn out a lot, so I really appreciate you coming and joining us today.
Pleasure.
Yeah, so I kind of went over your whole football career, and it speaks for itself. If you want to know more about Ed and his football career, please Google or YouTube him, and we'll get into it here a little bit. But I really want to talk to you a little about your life after football, because that's really how I met you. You originally came into, for those who don't know, my wife and I own a dry cleaners, and you came in there one day needing some alterations. Is that right?
That's true.
Yeah. So, and then I got to talk to you, bugging you, I guess, about some insurance. You eventually purchased some insurance. You want to tell me a little bit about that, man?
Well, like I said, COVID put 40 pounds on me.
Okay.
Which is unheard of for me because I'm one who've always worked out, I always eat right. And one of the things that I prayed for when I was drafted by Dallas back in 1974 was to get out injury-free because I'm an outdoorsman. And you have to have your legs. And I was blessed enough to play 15 years and never miss a game and got out healthy where I can still work out. I work out since I retired. I still work out 4 or 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And most of the guys who played the game would do the same thing. But unfortunately, the black eye in my sport is a lot of the guys have had hips replaced, knees replaced, and they can't work out. And when that happens, a lot of times you have a tendency to put on weight. But again, thanks to your facility, your cleaners there, that they were able to fix me up after all that weight that I gained, get me where I could feel comfortable wearing my clothes again. And met you, and which was a blessing.
Thank you.
And because, like I said, you were able to supply me with insurance for one of my companies, and I'm thankful to this day for it.
Well, I was really, first, when you came in, man, I was like, I instantly recognized you, and then got to talking to you and just realized how approachable and affable you are. So
when you've been out of the game as long as I have,
yeah.
it's an honor to be recognized.
Yeah, well, both Lila and I are lifelong Cowboy fans, so we could. I think they call it ass whipping when you just go after someone over and we could ass whip all day, but we'll try to avoid that. I do want to talk about. You mentioned that you were able to stay active, and you look like it, man. You look fantastic. Back then, the programs they had back in the 70s when you played, they weren't the physical training programs. I'm saying they probably weren't as up to date as they're a lot more up to date than they were back then. How were you able to stay, so fit and avoid injury where you were able to play 15 seasons?
Well, I have to go back to my college days. Like I said, I started out I grew up on a farm where my high school didn't have football.
Okay.
So I played baseball, basketball, ran track, and boxed. And under the influence of my brother-in-law, my senior year in high school, I lost my dad. And he said, I know you're thinking about going to Arizona State, following Reggie Jackson, the baseball player. He said, but I think you should go to Tennessee State, and where you're close to your mom, to check on your mom. My mom didn't even know how to drive. She did everything with my dad. He said, and you're a football player. I said, football? I don't even know the rules of football. He said, well, that's what I'm going to teach you this summer.
Wow.
So under his influence, I went to Tennessee State. And Tennessee State, at that time, could recruit good players. They had a very good program, and they didn't want you there unless you were totally committed and could play. So they tried to run me off. But from having that boxing mentality and them trying to run me off, all it did was make me tougher and want to do it even more. And the coach asked me to stay after practice one day. And first thought came to my mind was, oh, well, I guess I'm going to the basketball court. He said, look like you take this game pretty serious. I said, yes, I do. He said, you realize today, and at the time, I'm only 6'5". He said, today you'd be one of the tallest in the history of the game if you were lucky enough to make it to that next level. I said, okay. He said, which means because of that chop block, which I don't think should have ever been legal, caused more injuries than any other block. He said, you'd have to be the best conditioned athlete on the field or they're going to get your knees. He said, if you're willing to do my rigorous program, I'm willing to work with you. I said, I am. So not only did I go through his program, I worked out for the Tennessee State, with the Tennessee State Tiger Bears women track team, which several of those ladies, not just Wilma Rudolph, went on to win gold medals.
Wow.
Now, I don't tell people how much dust they kicked in my face, but I was out there trying. So early on, I knew one of the keys to staying healthy was to be in the best shape possible. And when after being drafted by Dallas, Dallas always tried to stay a step ahead of every other team in the league. They hired the best trainers and they hired the best.
Okay.
So I got to work with a lot of good trainers that would come through there, and I learned something from them. But a lot of times I would leave that facility and go work out again and do my own thing just to make sure. Oh. And when I would watch films and see where had I loafed that particular play, they probably would have got my legs, that kind of thing. So and that's why I've tried to encourage the guys as I run into them from time to time, not just Cowboys, players around the league, the importance of staying in shape. Yeah,
because, man, if I've seen you on the street, I would think you're probably 10 years younger than me. So I'll tell you what, I do want to get into you mentioned the Cowboys. I want to get into all that briefly because that's what people know you for, your legendary career. But let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do more with Ed Too Tall Jones.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. But I have a question for you. What's going to happen if an accident happens at your home? Maybe a fire, or a flood, or even a burglary. Well, with Northwest Insurance Agency, all of those thoughts can just stay thoughts. Because when you're covered under the sombrero, you're covered for any accident imaginable. So give us a call today or visit us at nwagencies.com and let us give you the peace of mind you deserve.
Northwest Insurance. Insurance.
Okay, we are back on Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. Here with Mr. Ed Too Tall Jones. Ed, when we left, we were starting to get into your career with the Dallas Cowboys. So you went to Tennessee State. You were the first overall pick, but one significant thing that you and I were talking about, you were the first of all, you were the first defensive player, if I'm correct, ever to go number one overall. Correct. Is that correct? And you were also the first number one pick to be picked from a historically black college.
Correct.
Now, how proud did that make you, man, and your family?
Well, I was more nervous and concerned than proud.
Why is that?
All the pressure.
Okay.
I felt that there was a lot of pressure on me to deliver, not to prove Gil Brandt, who's responsible for that, who I consider by far the best scout ever in the history of the game, for watching me and believing in me. But so I wasn't just a typical rookie when I joined the Cowboys. I mean, I was most rookies, regardless of what round you go in, you never feel safe. You know, because number one picks have gotten cut before.
Oh yeah.
But not only did I have that pressure on me, but I'm representing all HBCUs, historically black colleges. I knew that if I performed well, then more teams, especially during that time, this was 1974.
Yeah.
More teams would start taking a look at black colleges. So I had all that to deal with, and
yeah, man, I can only imagine the pressure. But we talk about the doors you open, you know, and you and I were talking earlier. I liken it to Doug Williams, who was the first black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. You know, there was such a stigma there, and until it was broken, you know, that stigma was going to stay there, and you actually broke a stigma. So, I mean, that's just one of the many legendary things you've done on. So you were at Tennessee State, you get picked overall number one. You had come into the 74 season with a lot of pressure on you. Did you perform right away, or were you timid joining the Cowboys, or were you determined that I'm going to come in and take it by storm?
Well, with Coach Landry, Coach Landry would always have a one-on-one talk with you, with all his players.
Okay.
And the thing he set me down and talked to me about was the fact that I'm not going to compare you with anybody. I know what you're capable of doing. I've watched a lot of your film. And all I want you to do, he said, if you have a long career here, if you're number one, stay out of trouble. He said, number one, play up to your abilities. And number two, get involved in the community.
Yeah.
Number three, rather, get involved in the community. And I said, well, that should be a piece of cake for me, because I developed work ethics dating all the way back to junior high school. You know, I've always believed that felt that there's a price you have to pay in order to be successful. I don't care how talented you are and how lucky you are. If you want longevity and you're going to be successful, there's a price you pay. If you don't pay that price, you'll never accomplish and achieve what you're capable of achieving. And I knew that.
What you're saying just screams discipline, and it screams tenacity. Where did that come from? Obviously, it came from your growing up, but what was the root?
That came from my mom.
Okay.
It came from my mom, who practically raised 8 kids. My dad traveled a lot, so my mom had the responsibility of raising us. She instilled that in us at a very young age, and also it didn't hurt growing up on a farm. Mm-hmm. Now, for a person who's never lived on a farm and worked a farm, they don't have no clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know.
What kind of a farm was it?
We raised everything.
Oh,
anything with
really?
2 legs, 4 legs, anything grow out of the ground, and we raised it and sold it. And but it wasn't just farm hands. You know, we were hands on too.
Uh-huh.
You know, we were hands on too, and but anything to do with the farm, when it come to working, you name it, I tried it.
Yeah. Something really impressive about you, what you told me about your family, is that you said you had 8 siblings, correct?
Yes.
And all 8 of them received a college degree.
Yes.
And they all came from just working on the farm.
Yeah, my mom was determined that all 8 of us were going to college. And I remember when I was a senior in high school, at the time, baseball didn't have a draft. They invited you.
Okay.
It was just like the draft. Well, the Cincinnati Reds invited me to camp.
Yeah.
And my mom said no. Now, they had just come out with a fastback Mustang,
Okay.
which everybody wanted.
Yeah.
And I looked at my mom and I said, Mom, but I'd be able to afford my own fastback Mustang. My mom said, you go to college, do the right things. Not only would you be able to afford one for yourself, but for anybody you want. So I knew then the Cincinnati Reds.
College, man. So I had the same scenario, man. One summer I worked with my uncle who was in construction. I worked that one summer and I go, man, I think college is the way I need to go. So I hear you. So tell me real quickly about your Cowboy career. You're drafted, obviously you become successful I remember by the 77 season, you were already a known name and appearing on Battle of the Network Stars or stuff like that. What made you decide to stop it all and switch to boxing was it 1979 you did that?
Yes.
Yeah. What?
Well, it go back a ways. When I was a senior in high school, I was fighting Golden Gloves,
Okay.
undefeated, and I knocked an opponent out in 36 seconds, which is still a record in the state of Tennessee,
Wow.
and made the front page. Now, when you make the front page in my little hometown, that's big news.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my coach saw it, who coached both baseball, basketball, track. He coached everything. He saw it and gave me an ultimatum: either give up boxing or I couldn't play those sports.
Okay.
Well, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So I was denied an opportunity to do something that I thought I was really good at it
Yeah.
at a young age.
Yeah.
So in the back of my mind, even in college, when I had a successful college career, I kept thinking about boxing. I followed boxing unlike any other sport. But still, things were happening so fast, I was excited about it. Then being drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, they were America's team back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but after my second year in the league, when we lost the Super Bowl to Pittsburgh Steelers, that boxing thoughts started coming to mind again. But I'm going, there's no way I can box until I achieve things like I did in college. We won the Division II title twice.
Yeah.
We won also basketball. We won the NCAA Division II championship. So I got a championship in basketball in college, championship in football. When we beat Denver,
77.
everybody was celebrating. I was celebrating, but in the back of my mind, I kept asking myself, is the time right now?
Yeah.
So doing.
How old were you at this point, Ed?
I'm 24 or 5.
Okay, so you're still relatively young.
Yeah. And when I signed with Dallas, I signed a 4-year contract with an option year.
Okay.
So after losing the Super Bowl, after winning the Super Bowl, I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I think it's time for me to pursue that dream of mine. She said, I said, to box. First thing she said was, don't burn no bridges. And what she meant by that was, play out your contract. Not only play out your contract, let them know you won't be back. So I gave the Cowboys a year notice that I would be retired. In mid-season, I'll never forget Gil Brandt called me in and said, hey, we haven't heard from your lawyer. And I said, why would you be hearing from my lawyer? He said, we ready to negotiate. I said, remember, I told you I won't be back. So he sat down with Tex Schramm, and they knew right away I don't play games like that.
Yeah.
So that's why they drafted Larry Bethea, defensive end out of Michigan State, to take my place. And that's when I got ready to, when I played my year out, I hadn't told anybody what I was going to do. And the last thing I wanted was Gil Brandt, Tex Schramm, Tom Landry to read about it.
Right.
Larry Holmes was the champion at the time. A friend of mine.
Okay, wow.
A friend of mine, because I'd asked him, I said, I'm having this press conference to announce my retirement in New York. Would you drive over from Eastern Pennsylvania to attend it to let people know that this is not no negotiating floor?
Yeah.
He said, I'll be there. So that night before, I called Gil Brandt, told him what I was going to do. Yeah. First thing he said was, have you talked to Tex? I said, no. So I called Tex Schramm, and I told him. He must have dropped the phone for a minute because it's a while before he responded. And he said, have you talked to Coach? I said, no. He said, call Coach. When I called Coach Landry, first thing he asked was, who is your trainer? I said, Murphy Griffith. He said, He said, you got a good team. And that blew me away because I'm going, how does Coach Landry know anything about boxing? I've never heard him mention anything about boxing. And to know Murphy Griffith, you have to know boxing. He said, let me tell you something. Thank you for your 5 years. You meant a lot to us. You meant a lot to the community. He said, if you need anything, don't you hesitate to pick that phone up and call. He said, so let me know how I can get in touch. That just caused my knees to buckle.
I bet, man.
And I've always felt he was the type coach that wasn't just a coach, he was a father figure.
He took that he took that responsibility on.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And so when I had my secretary send information how to get in touch with me, funniest thing happened. I get a box one day, and I had 5 sparring partners who trained with me every day.
Yeah.
They sent sweatsuits for all my sparring partners and myself with the largest Cowboy logos I've ever seen to this day.
Wow, man.
And I'm going, that's to remind me of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But I thought that was funny. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
But
that explains why you went back.
Yeah, but then when something happened that prevented me from going back that I haven't told anyone, haven't shared with anyone, even to this day, when I decided to go back, the Cowboys welcomed me back with open arms and played another 10 years.
Yeah. Well, next time you have to, maybe we can get it out of you what that secret was. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about what you've been doing after football, man, because that's how I know you, Dad, after football. You've been watching Beyond the Policy, cover everything Dallas, and we'll be right back.
Whether you're racing to work or just enjoying a cruise on a Sunday afternoon, we can do that. It does not matter if it's a beat-up clunker of a daily driver or a supercar that you love with all your heart, we cover it. Perhaps you need business insurance to get on a job site or just want that safety net for your employees, we have that also. Don't forget about your most important asset of them all, your home. What I'm trying to say is that at Northwest Insurance Agency, we do it all.
Northwest Insurance. Get covered under the umbrella.
Northwest Insurance.
Okay, we are back on Beyond the Policy, covering everything Dallas. Ed, man, we could go on and on about your boxing career and your legendary Dallas Cowboy career. Real quick question, and then I want to move on to post-football. Tell me, who's your best Dallas Cowboy teams you played on? Was it 77 or 78 team?
Okay, we won it on 77.
We won it on 77, but 78 was...
78 was a very good team. We lost by 4 points to the Steelers in the Super Bowl. Because of our experience, I would put that team up against any team that's ever played the Super Bowl.
The 78?
78 Super Bowl.
I mean, as a lifelong Cowboy fan, 78, man, y'all should have won that Super Bowl, and y'all were... Yeah. If y'all would have won that Super Bowl, you are the team of the 70s as opposed to the Steelers.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So
I was 11 years old. I watched that game and I cried my eyes out.
I did too.
I cried. My mom has passed, but for years and years and years and years, my mom would bring up when I cried after that game. Yeah, broke my heart.
Only because Lynn Stallworth decided to make the 2 most incredible catches of his career. But anyway, I digress. Tell me, Ed, you retired in 1989. You played how many seasons with Jimmy? Just one? Jimmy Johnson?
One.
Just
Jimmy.
one season. How was that?
One with Jimmy.
One with two. Okay. Yeah. 2 of the legendary Cowboy coaches. What would you do immediately after football? Were you lost, or did you already have a plan in place?
Well, first of all, I didn't wait until after football. Because of my height, I grew 2 inches. When Dallas drafted me, I was 6'7". I grew another 2 inches in the pros, 6'9". And to be honest with you, I prayed again to get out with my legs because I love doing so many things outdoors. And I also prayed for 5 years. I wanted at least 5 years in the league because at the time, the average player, even today, 4 years, mainly because of injuries. And I said, if I could just get 5 years in, little did I know I'd play 15. But I'm gonna try to make a long story short. During the off season when we would work out, we'd work out and we'd a group of us, and then a lot of time we'd say, hey, let's run to this seafood place to have some light seafood for lunch, et cetera, et cetera. Roger Staubach would be there.
Yeah.
And leave with a suit and tie on.
Okay.
And it's hot. I'm going, where's he going with this suit and tie? So I remember a teacher in elementary telling me, said there's no such thing as a dumb question. Says dumb if you don't know something and don't ask.
Right.
So I caught him going to his car by himself one day, and I stopped. I said, man, I got to ask you. I said, where you going with this suit on? I said, man, we got these shorts on, getting ready to go grab some lunch, da, 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 da. He said, you got a second? I said, yeah. We sat on the hood of that car. He said, Ed, one play, your career could be over.
Yeah.
He said, they love us in Dallas. Lots of opportunities here in Dallas. You should take advantage of it. He said, I'm going to Henry S. Miller to not for them to just give me anything. I want to learn everything from the ground up.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said, if I were you, he said, it doesn't have to be real estate or whatever, but I would get involved in something that you think you'd want to do now. And I thanked him for it.
Yeah.
And that had such an effect on me. It was days when I would go to work out. I would take a suit with me. I'd put that suit on and walk out that locker room and just go back home. I wanted to get involved in something so bad.
Yeah.
So finally I got involved with a group of guys. We started a company and started doing it. I mean, you name it, we were involved in it.
Yeah.
A lot of things crossed our desk, and the majority of them we jumped on. Then I also found another group of guys and got involved with them. And the thing I told them, I said, okay, I'm a part of this, but only if none of us can retire. And they were older than I am.
Okay.
Very successful men.
Okay.
But aggressive men. I said, none of us can retire. That we all agreed. We only lost one.
Wow.
We only lost one 2 years ago, so it's three of us now, but we got involved in as much as we could, and we still enjoy it. We talk about it almost every other day, about how much we enjoy
the deals.
being out there doing something.
Yeah.
It's just like COVID,
Yeah.
when they had the lockdown. I mean, I couldn't function. I had to do something.
Felt
I had to get out of the
man.
house. So
Yeah.
had it not been for golf, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, I remember you
that fourth
started
round I
riding
was
golf.
playing
Yeah.
golf.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done. So I have to have a lot on my plate.
Yeah, you do, man.
Sounds-
You're a very active gentleman, and from talking to you, you're involved in a lot of business. I know for a fact because I insure one of them, and you play a lot of golf, and you seem like you really in a good place right now, man.
Well, golf is the way I give back to the community. Most of golf is charity.
Okay, well,
Because they like, guys like to gamble on a golf course. I'm not that good.
You're not that
So I'm
good.
not going to give my money away.
well, I could go on and on and on with.
I would like to ask one question.
Sure, go ahead.
I'd like to, Ed, if you could give, because it sounds like all along the way you've asked for great advice and you've been given great advice. So if you could give a piece of advice to a young person watching this podcast, or even a not young person watching this podcast who wants to maybe start over or continue doing well in what they're doing, what piece of advice would you give?
I like, and you hit the nail on the head when you said it doesn't have to be a young person.
That's right.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be.
Anybody out there who are undecided on what they want to do, which direction they want to take. My thing is, again, remember that to sit down first of all and decide if this is something that you really want to do. Because if it's something you really want to do, you'll pay the price for it, because there's a price you have to pay for success. Also dream, and dream big. Dream big, because dreams do come true. Dreams do come true. And surround yourself with the right people. I like to surround myself with people who are smarter than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tell them that, but I know they are. People who are smarter than I am with worth ethic like I have.
Yeah.
You're not going to find nobody that's going to outwork me.
No, sir.
All you got to do is show me a path.
Yeah.
I like to what you said, and this sounds weird, but I like this. I like to be the dumbest person in the room because I can learn from each person.
Yes.
There are jobs that I've applied to, and I've said, look, I don't know your industry, but I have the skill set you want. I can learn your industry. In 6 months or a year, I can learn your industry.
Right.
But I bring my work ethic, my lion energy, I bring that. So I like that a lot.
And also leave your ego at home. I don't ever want to be involved in someone who let their egos get in the way. Because again, like I mentioned earlier about If you let an ego get in the way, you are not, trust me, going to accomplish what you are capable of accomplishing because of it.
Great words of advice.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. But before we let you go, we have 5 questions that we always ask our guests. We're just going to throw them at you, and they're all about Dallas, since this podcast is about covering all the people of Dallas. And I'm going to let Lila start with number 1.
Okay. What is your favorite Mexican restaurant here in town, favorite Tex-Mex restaurant, and what's your go-to dish when you go there?
All right, my favorite restaurant in town is Coquitas.
Okay.
And my go-to dish there, she'll probably kill me for saying it, but it's their liver.
What?
And the reason why is because when I was growing up as a kid, my mom couldn't get me to eat liver, but boxers have to eat liver because it helps build strong stomach muscles.
Okay.
So I had to eat. My trainer would watch me.
Yeah.
I was forced to eat it, and I actually started enjoying it. Well, the way they prepared there, I wish they had been around in New York when I was training in New York.
Man.
So that's my go-to.
Yeah. Shout out to Elizabeth Villafranca, who's a mutual friend and has been a guest on the show. Okay, that's a great answer, man. Question number 2. Tell me the same question, but with barbecue. Give me the favorite barbecue place here in the DFW area and favorite dish. Or what's your go-to order?
My favorite barbecue place is Smokey John's.
Another guess?
We had one.
Yeah.
Smokey John's. When my family come down to visit, whether it be Thanksgiving or whenever, I'll always have, I have to have it, or they would kill me. Smokey John's cater it for us.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's hard to single out one dish on that menu.
Yeah, man.
They put TLC into everything. They do such a great job. They carry on their dad's tradition.
They really do. We had them on the show about a month ago. Those great guys, man.
Great. Yes.
Okay. Question number 3.
I'm going to let you ask it this time.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
In your opinion, and this is very, very strong opinion, who was the best Cowboy coach in the history of the franchise? And you played for probably the 2 best candidates.
Best coach.
Yeah, best coach. You played for the.
Okay. I have to say Coach Landry, and not just because I played with him 14 years and Jimmy Johnson 1 year, because that 1 year that I played under Jimmy, we won in 15. But when I went to him and told him I was retiring, I had another year left on my contract, I told him, I said, hey, man, I know what's required to win. You're going to win around here.
Yeah.
And boy,
saw it.
I saw it. But with Coach Landry, the way they summed him up was the thing that players want more than anything from a coach is to know that every time you step on that football field, 2 things. You're in just as good a condition and you're not out-coached. I don't care who we were playing with Coach Landry. We knew everything you were going to do. Now, we couldn't always stop you because you were just better than us.
Right.
But we knew what you were going to do.
Yeah.
So those 2 things is all I want. Now it's up to the players.
Yeah.
Coach done that job.
Yeah, well, and you have insight. But he has more insight, Lila, than probably anybody else we've ever asked that question.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. Coach Landry was. And
That's why I wanted you to ask it, because I knew
and
it was
it sounds like you told me a story off air about Coach Landry. It sounds like he was the same person on and off the field.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right, Lila, you want to do
Okay. Yes, I want to ask you about the JFK assassination. If you think it was a lone gunman, or if you think it was, if you're a conspiracy theorist.
Because of a certain family that I won't call the name here in Dallas that I'm friends with, they truly believe it was a lone act.
Wow.
Okay.
Now there's a lot of conspiracies behind it.
Yes.
But I think he was the only gunman there to assassinate.
But that there was conspiracy.
There was conspiracy involved.
Oh, okay.
Oh, most definitely, yes.
That's a mixed kind of a mixed answer there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I like that.
I like that. I like that
it
perspective.
Sounds like some knowledge, man.
Uh-huh.
You got some,
Yeah, I
some
like that
backdoor
part of it.
knowledge. Okay, last question. In your opinion, Ed, and you've been all across the world, man. You've seen so many things, all everywhere, and been influenced by so many people, met so many greats. In your opinion, if you had to name one person, who is Dallas To you, who is Dallas?
So if I had named one person in Dallas.
If I came up to you and said, Ed Jones, who is Dallas? And you're a candidate, by the way.
I know. You know what? I'm gonna. There's so many people here who've had a big influence on a lot of people, and a lot of people here who deserve the credit for Dallas being the city that it is. I'm gonna stay with sports and say a sports thing, and hope you can read between lines what I'm trying to say. If you spend a lot of time here, when the Cowboys are winning, personalities are better, business is better,
Economy's better, man. Yeah.
everything's better when Dallas is winning.
Yeah. Yep.
So rather than trying to single out one individual who's Dallas, I think collectively we all have to get together and come together and say, we got to turn these Cowboys around. Make it better for all of us.
That is a great answer.
That's
man.
the most original answer
you ever had. And you have led an original life, man. Like I said, we could go on and on, but every stop you've been at, Ed, you've been successful. I admire you, and I feel honored to not only get to know you, but to consider you a friend, man. Thanks again for being here, and I hope to come back and get some of those secrets out of you next time.
You bet.
All right. You've been watching and listening to Beyond the Policy, covering everything else, and we will see you next time. If you have any questions, please send them to info@nwagencies.com or give us a call at 214-352-5656. Thanks.